Hey guys, and welcome back to Weather Wednesday. This week we're talking all about weather data. You may be wondering, should I pay for it or can I get what I need for free? The short answer is it depends. So we'll talk about plenty of things and information you can get for free, and you definitely can get by with all free data, but there may be some reasons why you might want to pay for some of your data. We'll talk about that as well. So, I want to show you a few of my favorite websites, and let's take a look now at what some of them are. So, you can actually get by, really well by just using a few sites that you've bookmarked, and you can use them for most of your weather data needs. Now, all the websites I'm going to show you, you can get a list of them and the links to them in my weather resource guide, which is on the homepage of my website where you can download it, but I will put a link in the description below. So this first site is from the Weather Prediction Center, and this one I recommend just for your big picture, looking at where the fronts are, where the high pressure systems are, low pressure systems, etc. You can also get rainfall on here, so you can take a look at what the rain forecast is, if there's any winter weather occurring. You can also look a bit further out into the future at the frontal maps, days 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so the Weather Prediction Center is a great spot. They also have some top stories, and if you follow them on Twitter, Twitter is interesting because it's actually a really great place to get weather information. I'm not a big Twitter person. I don't tweet personally in any, capacity, but for weather stuff, it's actually awesome because there is real-time stream of weather information coming in from everywhere in the world. So I really like following, the different NOAA offices or different weather spotters, tornado chasers, anything like that. If you're into it, Twitter is a really actually cool place to follow a bunch of, weather information. So Weather Prediction Center is one great spot. Another great site, again, totally free, is windy.com. This is especially good for, starting to think about a sailing forecast. What kind of weather systems am I looking at? And obviously, what is the wind speed going to be doing? So you can have, a visual image with some colors and motion, which I think is really helpful. And then at the bottom, you have different models that you can look at. So you can toggle between them really easily. I can toggle between these different models. You can also get multiple parameters. So you can choose between rain, temperature, clouds. There's also a bunch more here to choose from. So there's a lot of information. You can really narrow it down. The other feature I like a lot on Windy is the fact that you can look at upper levels. So this bar that says surface, I can quickly drag it up to see what's going on higher up in the atmosphere. So you can tell right now today there's this big nor'easter is just finishing going through New England. So one little side note also is that if you guys can, I really recommend just using a laptop or a tablet, something a little bit bigger instead of just your phone for your weather data. So it's a really good idea to kind of get in the habit of just having a few websites bookmarked, open up your laptop or a tablet if you have that. It's just easier to see. You can get around quicker, and there's so many more features on these sites apart from just the mobile apps. The mobile apps get really limited in what they offer, which is a bummer. But like these different levels, this is something that's really hard to look at on a phone and find it and get that going. So I just recommend, I know it might be a minor inconvenience to pull out a laptop or a tablet or something, but it's worth it in my book. This next site is really cool. It's kind of an all-in-one, right? So this site is called NowCoast. This is also a NOAA site, and it's actually just for mariners. So this is nowcoast.noaa.gov/mariner. And what this site has automatically on it is all of the different marine zones broken up into, their names and zones. And when you click on them, you can get the specific forecast for that zone, for exactly what is going on in that area. It'll bring it up in a new window if you're on a computer, but you can get the forecast that way really quickly. It also has a million layers, which again, it's basically an all-in-one. So if we go onto the right-hand side, we can see all the different layers that it has. We saw that it has the coastal waters and the offshore waters, the high seas forecasts. So that's all the boxes that you can click. Um, you can also toggle on some wind barbs, and that will give you some kind of a visual image, although it's not quite as good as windy, I think, but you can see some wind barbs there. There's also watches and warnings, which is what these pink colored boxes are for different gale warnings. If there's a tropical cyclone, you have a cyclone track forecast that you can toggle on and off. There's also these observations, which I think are helpful as well. So I don't know if you can see them. Let me zoom in a little bit. But these little pieces of info here are basically buoys or ships. These are both on land, so they're buoys. But you can get weather information from these individual buoys on this site as well. There's also weather radar that you can toggle on and off. You can toggle on and off satellite, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of your one-stop shop to look at everything. These are different weather observations. You can see what the wind is doing, the temperature, etc. All right, there's also a bunch of other stuff down here you can play with, different sea surface temperatures and all that kind of stuff, tides, river forecast. So it goes on and on. It's just a cool site to have all in one. And the other thing is, if you end up taking all of the layers off, what you get on the bottom, the base, is actually nautical charts. This is one of the reasons why I love it, because it's really easy to zoom in and see where some of these navigational hazards and beacons are. So that's really cool. I like having the nautical charts built right in. All right, what other sites do we have? Okay, this is a great one. Sailflow. So if you guys have not used Sailflow before, it is really good for weather data that you can pull up real time. So I mentioned there were buoys and stuff on the other site, but if you take a look at Sailflow, you can tell just a lot more wind observations here, and it's customized for sailors. So I have it set up in knots instead of miles per hour, which obviously helps us as sailors a lot. We deal in knots. Other sites a lot of times do miles per hour, and there's just a lot more coastal sites. So if I was sailing in San Francisco, you can see how many more sites there are in yellow here on Sailflow as compared to the white sites. The Sailflow ones are also green, by the way, green and yellow. All these white ones are all of the freely available ones. So those are some ones that you might find on other sites as well. So now we're kind of getting into territory of stuff that you might want to pay for. So I'm going to come back to this in just a minute. I want to keep going with a couple more free options, but there is just a free Sailflow plan that you can have. You just have a little bit less visual, you have a little bit less observations to choose from, but you still can get these nice wind graphs here. Okay, the next free site I want to show you is this lightningmaps.org. So this one is really cool. Basically, it's worldwide from satellite, showing you where all the lightning strikes are happening currently at the moment. So this is really cool if you're wondering, is there lightning near me? Should I be worried about going out sailing? This is a cool place to come. You can see right now all the little dots that are pinging here out in the Atlantic are all lightning strikes. So in the middle of the summertime, you can imagine there's a lot more happening over land, and you can watch them and which way they're moving based on what color they are. So this is a cool site, and it's, again, totally free. The last free site, which is a little bit more complex, so if you're into a little bit more weather data than, say, just your basic stuff on windy, you can get a lot of great information on tropical tidbits. So this one has good model data, which is what I'm looking at now. So once you get to tropical tidbits, you would come up here to forecast models, and they have some really great maps, and you can scroll through in time on the forecast maps. You can also look at different levels, in the atmosphere. You can get different models So this is a really great place to come and check out maybe some snowfall if you're looking at the north, or you can look and see what the jet stream is doing, maybe in the upper section here at 250 millibars. So if you're a little bit more weather savvy and you kind of know what you're looking for, you can get a ton more information here. You can check out the temperatures, at the surface. We can get lower dynamics and get wind speeds here. And you can zoom in a little bit on some of the sectors if you go to regions. So there's quite a lot to play around with here on Tropical Tidbits. Fun fact also, if you're tracking storms, tropical storms, or hurricanes, there's a section on aircraft recon and current storms, which obviously there's none right now. This is from somewhere else, but you can go to aircraft recon and it will tell you all the cool information that's coming straight out of the NOAA aircrafts that are flying into the hurricanes. So it's a really cool place to come during hurricane season. And the meteorologist who runs it, Lee Cowan, does videos if there are landfalling or potentially landfalling storms in the US. He does custom videos on it. So yeah, I recommend checking those out if you are interested in that. So forecast models on Tropical Tidbits is another good one. All right, so now coming to more of the paid side of things. So what you may want to do if you want to increase the amount of data you're looking at, let's say you're a coastal racer and you want to see more of these observations than just what you can see for free on NOAA or on another site. This is a great place to come and check out exactly how the wind is funneling in. So here in San Francisco, we can see how the wind is coming into the bay and it's funneling and spreading out in these different directions. So in the northern part of the bay up here, they have more of a south wind. And over here in the east part of the bay, they have a little bit more of a westerly wind. So it's pretty interesting to see how it's all working together. So this may be one instance where you want to do a little upgrade, and it's usually worth it. If you're a sailor, I say definitely do it. I've had a membership forever. But anyways, you can get a pro membership with Sailflow. This is totally just, I don't get anything out of this. This is totally just for your benefit more than mine. It's $20 off a pro membership if you guys want to join. You go to sailflow.com/Chelsea and you'll get $20 off the yearly membership. So that helps a little bit. Again, I just like Sailflow and use it all the time. The other thing that they have that's pretty cool is they have a local forecast map of their particular high resolution models. So if you're into the high resolution models, you can, and you have a pro membership, you can come in and get their 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer models for areas like San Francisco and a lot of coastal sites. Okay, so there's one for Miami, Biscayne Bay, and up and down the East Coast as well. So that's a really cool thing also about Sailflow. Again, this is why I like doing it on the computer more so than the app, although the app works great for Sailflow. I personally just get a better picture on a computer or a tablet, so it's worth it to just open up the tablet, I think. So the last thing is that if you're an offshore sailor, let's say you're going to be coastally cruising and you are going to have to download your weather files when you're offshore and maybe not on a great internet connection, you may want to invest in something like a Predict Wind membership or something along those lines. Like, Expedition is another great option that you can use to download GRIBs and run routing. You can run routing on Predict Wind and download GRIBs that way and get your model data. So there are reasons why maybe if you're going to be going farther distances away from shore, it's a good idea to make sure you can get that GRIB file data. But I will say there is one more thing that you can do if you go to SailDocs. So I'm going to share it here for you. SailDocs.com. If you've never used it, it is a free way to get GRIB files emailed to you. Pretty much any GRIB file that you want that they have, You will send an email with a certain code that they have listed. It's really easy to figure out. And they will automatically send you back the grid that you requested for the area of the world that you requested it. That is super awesome, especially if you're offshore and you have a slow connection. You don't really want to be messing with different programs. So you just have to have email connection. So if you use like Iridium Go or a satellite email connection, you can use SailDocs to quickly, you have a little code saved. You just fire off an email with one little tiny line of text, send it through, and then they will send you back the grid file, and you can get just the area you want, just the parameters you want. And that's a really cool option as well, as long as you have something to look at the grids in. So if you have Expedition or Adrena, I don't know, so any of the other grid viewers, even Predict Wind, I think maybe you can view the grids. That's an easy way as well. All right, so I think that does it. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions on other types of weather data, more places that you can get free data, I know there's a million things out there. Again, you can get all the links that I went to today on my weather resource guide. The link will be in the description below. If you guys like this video, definitely like and click subscribe so you don't miss out on all the Weather Wednesday videos coming up. And if you guys want to learn more, I have tons of online courses on the website. So check it out. We'll see you guys next time.